Sung Yadong bounced back with a solid win at UFC Fight Night 223. The Kung Fu Kid ended Ricky Simone's 3-fight winning streak with a 5th-round TKO. Now he wants to climb up the bantamweight rankings. Yadong's superior striking had Simone resorting to unsuccessful takedown attempts. In the 4th, Simone was saved by the bell when Yadong dropped him with a left hand, but he was dropped again in the 5th by another left before being ground and pounded out. "I'm extremely happy," Yadong said of his performance after the bout. "Simone is a very tough opponent. I'm sorry, but today is my night. I want to fight a top 5 next, Sean O'Malley or Chito Vera." Yadong wants Sean O'Malley next because Sugar Sean is the money fight in the division. Everyone wants that fight, but it's unlikely. O'Malley is unbeaten from his last 5 bouts, and as the number 2 contender, he's next in line for a title fight. He won't want to risk that in a bout with the number 8. The number 5, Chito Vera, however, is much more likely with his recent decision loss to the number 3, Corey Sandhagen. But there could be a better option. The number 4, Piotr Jan. The former champ has gone 1-4 since losing the title to Aljamain Sterling. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, which includes a loss to O'Malley, so he'll likely have to fight someone down the rankings. Someone like Yadong. There was no fight of the night at UFC Fight Night 223, but Yadong's near-perfect game plan scored him a $50K performance bonus. The other 3 went to Caio Bahayo, Rodolfo Vieira, and Marcus McGee, who all scored second-round submission victories. In other UFC news, the former middleweight champ Robert Whittaker has a number 1 contender bout lined up, despite being the clear number 1 contender already, especially with Alex Pereira out of the division. Bobby Knuckles will face the surging South African Dricus Du Plessis, but not everyone is convinced that this is the fight to make. Du Plessis has worked his way to number 6 with a series of upset wins in ugly fights. More importantly, he has beef with the champ Israel Adesanya over who is more African. A title fight between those two in Africa would be absolutely massive for everyone involved. The problem is, Whittaker has never lost a middleweight fight that wasn't against the champ Adesanya. It's more likely that Whittaker will end the Adesanya-Du Plessis feud for them both. Whittaker versus Du Plessis for the next shot at Adesanya and the middleweight title is set to be the co-main event at UFC 290, where Brandon Moreno headlines the first flyweight main event since Brandon Moreno first fought Davison Figueiredo in 2020. Outside of the UFC, Francis Ngannou's gamble with vacating the UFC heavyweight title to pursue bigger paydays still hasn't paid off. Negotiations with most of the major combat promotions have already failed, and now that includes the ONE Championship. "I met with Francis yesterday for almost 3 hours," said ONE CEO Chatri Sichidon, before stating that ONE has decided to withdraw from the process of bidding for Francis Ngannou's services. "After careful reflection, we decided not to submit our final offer." Ngannou completed the last fight of his UFC contract in January of 2022 with the defense of the heavyweight title against Cyril Gane. After a year of inactivity, Ngannou reportedly turned down the biggest contract ever offered to a UFC heavyweight. That was in January of this year, and his intention was to pursue bigger paydays with other promotions and in boxing. Initially, everyone in combat was interested in signing the heavy-hitting champ, but to date, none of the major MMA promotions are willing to pay anywhere near what he's asking. And in boxing, all of the big-name heavyweights like Tyson Fury are more interested in fighting actual boxers for much more money. Only Ngannou knows what he'll do next, but after a year and a half without a fight, he's got to be wondering if his gamble was a good idea. And in kickboxing at Glory 85, Tariq Osara won the heavyweight tournament, outlasting Jafar Wilnis in the semifinal, before devastating Murat Aygan for the championship. And in the co-main, Andy Simelier shut out the former champ Murtil Gruenhardt to defend the welterweight title. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.